Hey guys, and welcome back to Mad About Skin. Here on the channel, my skincare philosophy has always been consistency is key. We shouldn't mix things up too frequently. You should invest now for those long-term skincare payoffs. However, there are 3 changes I hope everyone will make to their skincare routine in 2023. I made the switch this year and I've seen some game-changing results. Without having to spend any additional coin, these switches could elevate your skincare routine, provide additional anti-aging benefit, and just promote overall skin health, which is why I want to share them with you today. Sit back, relax, let's talk 3 simple skincare switches. Now, before we get into this video, I would love to know if you've already made the switch when it comes to any of these ingredients. These are just my thoughts, feelings, and opinions contained in this video, and I really want to hear yours, so sound off in the comments section below. I want to get this message out there loud and clear, because you don't need to spend any additional coin to get these wonderful additional benefits, and with everyone struggling with the cost of living at the moment, I think these simple switches could mean you get better outcomes for the money that you do invest. The best way of making sure this message is heard loud and clear is by reaching down and giving this video a thumbs up and a like. The more likes a video gets, the more widely YouTube distributes it on its platform. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you all so much. I've got a lot to cover, so let's just cut that waffle and delve straight on in. And the first switch I want everyone to make is from a retinol to a retinal. Now, there may only be 1 letter difference between these two, but honestly, I find that the results that you get are like night and day. I've always used over-the-counter retinols as part of my anti-aging skincare routine and got some really good results. They're a vitamin A derivative, which means over time they're going to increase cellular turnover for a more smoother complexion. They can also fade hyperpigmentation, and they're clinically proven to boost the levels of collagen and elastin production to minimize the appearance of fine lines and wrinkles. All that is wonderful, but if I was to tell you, you could get enhanced benefits than the ones I've just outlined with less risk of sensitivity and irritation by swapping your retinol for a retinal. Would you believe me? Well, trust me, I made the switch this year and I've never looked back. Retinal is actually closer to the retinoic acid that our skin needs to provide all these amazing benefits, so it's delivered in a higher potency. Studies also show that retinal is better tolerated by most skin types, so you're going to become less prone to sensitivity and irritation, the things that you can experience with an over-the-counter retinol. If you're already using tretinoin, Retin-A, this switch probably won't work for you because that is pure retinoic acid. But for everyone else that likes to reach for an over-the-counter option, you can actually get enhanced benefits. This year I switched from this, which is the Face Theory Regena Calm Serum Pro, which is a really good strength retinol, to this, which is the Geek and Gorgeous A Game, a retinal. I think the results are so amazing. You don't need to overpay for your retinol because brands like Geek and Gorgeous keep it super affordable in drugstore, and this is probably the one that I would recommend you starting this switch with. I then also do an option which is relatively affordable, particularly here in Europe, so pick one that's drugstore and accessible and make that switch. I think you'll be wowed by the results you'll see. Switch number 2 is to move from hyaluronic acid to any other wonderful humectant. Humectants draw in and retain moisture within themselves, which means they can prevent dehydration, transepidermal water loss. They can also plump out the skin to give a very temporary diminishing of fine lines and wrinkles. Like, what's not to love about that? But I think because of its popularity, we've all got fixated on hyaluronic acid, and we're actually missing a trick here, because a lot of the other humectants can deliver the same great benefits as hyaluronic acid, but with some additional ones too. I captured all of this in a recent video, which I'm going to leave a link to up there, but kind of to do a brief summary. Beta-glucan is a wonderful humectant and hydrator, but it's also anti-inflammatory, so it calms and it soothes at the same time, giving you additional benefit. If you reach for polyglutamic acid, you get a greater plumping effect than with hyaluronic acid, but it also works in synergy with your skin to naturally help it produce its own hyaluronic acid in a higher quantity. So you get some long-term results as well as some short-term wins. Finally, glycerin is one of my favourite humectants. It's actually better absorbed into the skin than hyaluronic acid, and it's also got some antimicrobial properties too. So if you're suffering with active breakouts and acne, switching from hyaluronic acid to glycerin can give you the same great results and a couple of extra ones on top of it. I just want to show with that video that I linked earlier that hyaluronic acid isn't the answer. You can definitely need some humectant action in your skincare routine, but get some additional benefits by just swapping to some of the other great ones on the market. I referenced quite a few products so far in the video, and they are all linked in the description box below if you want to check them out, read the reviews, make a purchase and all of that good stuff, but I definitely think this is a switch you're going to want to make. The third switch is probably the most important one that I should have led with, and that's switching to a broad spectrum sunscreen. And I mean truly broad spectrum. A lot of brands will call their products broad spectrum, but there's a very loose definition for what this actually is. In my view, broad spectrum is when a product gives you really comprehensive coverage against UVB and UVA radiation. The SPF value, which I think we all got a little bit fixated on over the past 3 years, actually tells you how effective that product is protecting the skin against UVB rays, the ones that burn you. However, they don't tell you the true story, because there's another wavelength of like UVA rays which actually age the skin and can cause cellular damage and cancers down the line. Brands for some reason don't want to tell you the UVA protection rating on a lot of their products, which I think is a shame. You want to make sure that you reach for a brand that is very transparent and open about the UVA coverage that you're getting, so you know that your skin is truly protected all day long. It can be difficult to know which sunscreens give you that truly comprehensive coverage, so I did a bit more of a detailed deep dive in a recent video, which I'm going to leave a link to up there. But some of my absolute favourites are these. This is the Ultris sunscreen line. This is the spray, but they do some lotions, they do some thicker creams. All of them have the UVA rating printed on the bottle, so you know exactly what you're getting, and they're all sky high. So you're getting that UVB and UVA protection, so you're going to just cover the skin from all angles, and they're super drugstore and affordable, which is why Ultris are one of my absolute favourite skincare brands. Garnier also do this product, which is the Anti-Age Super UV Lotion. Very lightweight, doesn't contain any denatured alcohol that some other European sunscreens do, meaning it's great if you've got very dryness prone skin type, and this has a really high UVA coverage alongside an SPF of 50+. If you're in the States or Canada, it can be a little bit difficult and tricky to get your hands on truly broad spectrum sun protection because there are restrictions on certain filters, particularly in the US, but this for some reason also transposes to Canada, where they have more loose regulations, but brands for some reason don't decide to sell their very best products there, which is a shame, and I hope that changes. But you can absolutely get your hands on this, the Garnier Ombrelle Complete Dry Touch. This does take a little bit of extra working in versus some of the other products, so apply a thin layer, let it sink in for a minute, and apply another thin layer on top. I find to be the best application technique with this. But in here, you've actually got some newer generation filters, which give a more broad spectrum UVA protection coverage. And I love the fact that you're getting a whole lot of product with this. I mean, it is really cost effective. And this does have a very nice finish, particularly if you're living in the North American market and you want something broad spectrum where the brand actually advertises the protection that you're getting. I was so frustrated about the lack of really broad spectrum sun protection which was available globally that I kind of just created my own, which is this. This is the Mad About Skin Protect and Hydrate sunscreen, which has a UVA protection rating of 23. That doesn't mean a whole lot to a lot of people, but there's a range of protection factors, and anything over 19 is considered in a lot of markets to be very high UVA protection. Whilst things are slowly changing in terms of how transparent brands are becoming when it comes to their UVA protection ratings, a lot of the time consumer regulations are doing some of the work for us. Recently here in Europe, there has been minimum requirements for UVA protection, which means any sunscreen that you purchase at a European drugstore will be giving at least a moderate level of UVA coverage. The same goes for Australia and New Zealand, where there are even more stringent requirements for the level of UVA protection, which again means that if you're reaching for an Australian or a New Zealand based sunscreen, you're probably going to be getting a moderate to high level of UVA protection too. It's if you're shopping in the North American market that I would be a little bit more wary of the products that you're reaching for and making sure that you choose one with a really good level of UVA protection, because the consumer regulations around that just aren't as robust, which gives brands a lot more scope to call their products broad spectrum, which actually doesn't live up to the definition and the requirements, say in Europe or Australasia. So hopefully in this video you've seen by just making 3 very simple changes, you could elevate your skincare routine without actually needing to spend any additional coin. I'm always about those quick wins, not necessarily having to invest a whole lot of capital to get the payoffs, but by just making a few tweaks to deliver enhanced results, which is why I'm so pleased to share these 3 switches in today's video. Let me know your experience with any of them in the comments section below, and wherever you are in the world, guys, stay safe, stay well, and love your skin. Take care. Bye.